Hello?
Today, what I'd like to cover is a few techniques that I found to be incredibly relaxing and powerful in producing clear flashes and helping you understand what that feeling of relaxation and good eyesight feels like. Also, I want to talk a little about some of the more um, ways that you can relax in general because the problem is if you're not like actually relaxed around people or doing things, you're going to produce that kind of strain because I guess that's just how our bodies, at least people who are myopic, respond to stress. They just like choose to blur things out. So, um, one of the first things I like to talk about is the period swing. That's what I like to call it. Um, I found this to be really effective, and some people they like to swing letters. I just find that too many details to have to swing in your head. For me, a period works. So if you can imagine a black circle wherever you're trying to see, imagine it like on a pendulum. So like those clocks or whatever that have the little thing that swings from side to side. It makes like an arc. So imagine that. Before you do this with your eyes open, just imagine that with your eyes closed. Imagine going side to side. Okay, it doesn't have to make it huge. Doesn't have to be huge. I like it. I keep it pretty small actually. And um, what I'd like you to do is open your eyes and um, try to maintain that sort of relaxation while looking at the test card. So your letter chart. And what I like to do is sometimes I'll blink to the beat. So the blink to the beat of the pendulum swing, or do something with my head to get me to keep remembering that the period is swinging, and that will produce a clear flash for me. Now, other people will maybe have trouble with this, possibly, possibly not. But if you have trouble, just realize that if you cannot do this, if you cannot produce the period swing and see a clear flash or whatever, try palming first. So, one of the things Bates always did is first he palms the patient and then they look at the test card. So, palm first, spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes palming, and pause the video if you need to, and then come back to this and do the period swing. So after you've done some palming, um, if you still can't do it during the period swing, one thing you have to keep in mind is that you're going to need to relax and stop sort of putting so much effort into the seeing part. I know that sounds like it sounds easy, but it's like it's not working for you or something. What I figured out is that if you let go of your face, like instead of trying to make an expression, try to make some type of expression with your face or with your eyes or whatever, just let go of all the muscles and think of the muscles in the eye as like one of your hands that is holding a ball, a squishy ball. That is really what it looks like. But for the sake of this, imagine that you have a hand reaching out and grabbing your eyeball. Like that's literally like a hand coming out of your brain grabbing your eyeball. And the feeling of relaxation for your eyes is that tension of grabbing that eyeball, sort of just releasing a little bit. That's really the best way I can describe it. Some of you will get that pretty quickly, others will take some time, but um, yeah, that's super super valuable um, skill. Now, the short swing. What is the short swing? The period swing is pretty similar to the short swing in that if you were especially imagining and sort of looking at the period going from side to side while you're looking at the test chart, you essentially produce a swinging motion with your eyes, like literally. I mean, So that is actually very good. Movement's very good for your eye, especially if you can do it while relaxed. If you relax first and then you do it, you should see good results. So, um, yeah, just take your time. And that is a short swing. Um, I don't know why it's called a swing. It like the long swing, it makes sense because you're swinging your body, but in the short swing, you're more so swinging what you're seeing, and it's not exactly easy to do that. And I like to do it using the period swing. Like you swing a period, and you imagine that, and you're kind of looking at that in a relaxed way, and then the things behind it clear up. And the nice thing about Bates is that once you have the correct sight, when you can see something properly, you can remember it properly. When you can remember it properly, you can visualize it properly. When you can visualize it properly, you can see it properly. So, um, you know, uh, this is really to help you get to that point where you can just see and you're not having to do these like visualization stuff. And it helps you realize that you can really see when you're relaxed. And the reason why Bates actually instant cures people is because if this worked for you in this moment right now, then that would have been, an instant cure. Like instantly you could see. Now the problem is, a lot of times people go back to their old habits. So developing this habit of relaxing when you're looking, it's going to take some time, right? Just like any other habit. Once you get in the habit of relaxing before you try and see in the distance instead of straining, then when you look in the distance next time, oh, that's how to relax, boom. You look in a more relaxed way. And then those things become muscle memory, and then you just don't have to think about it anymore. Just like your regular habits. You wake up, you look at your phone, you probably don't think about it, but you grab your phone, or maybe you wake up, you make your bed, you wake up, you brush your teeth. It's not something you're like, all right, now I'm going to, do this and then do that. And it's kind of just, you kind of get in the habit of doing it. Same thing with your keys, your phone, all the other habits that you have. And so, one thing I did think about while doing this is, well, gee, it's been so many years that I've been using my eyes in a bad way. It kind of makes you think a little bit like other people, they don't do that. Like they don't have these bad habits. How did I develop this bad habit? And it usually comes from the mental, from straining. Um, and that's why it's very important to always relax, be relaxed throughout your day, and realize that challenges that come to you, you can choose to deal with them in a stressed and strained way, or you can choose to deal with them in a relaxed way. And dealing with them in a relaxed way is always going to produce better results. So, that's what I have to say about that. Also, one thing I noticed, I've been talking to some friends with farsightedness, nearsightedness. The thing I found very interesting about farsighted people is the mental state of those people tends to be farsighted in its nature. They're thinking 10 years in advance, 50 years ahead. They're thinking all the way down the line when everything today kind of just, you know, they gotta just go through the motions. And I've noticed this throughout my farsighted friends. They'll be talking about, how they're gonna get married in 5 or 10 years and what job they're gonna have or whatever it is, and they're barely listening to the conversation or what it is that they have to do that day, or um, they're kind of sort of spaced out of what is going on in the current moment. Whereas for me, it's the opposite. I'm very attuned to what's going on in the moment such that I don't see far ahead. So, in that sense, I'm myopic. And I guess not as much anymore, but this is definitely a behavior that I'm prone to. So, yeah, I just thought it was very interesting to notice these mental states come up in people's vision. And, that's why it's kind of important to Um, Also live a life that is relaxed, meaning you're planning properly, you're dealing with the issues you need to deal with, and um, that goes along other lines. But the most important thing is to always just be relaxed. People say, oh, you need to train yourself to do this, train yourself to do that. The concept isn't very hard, right? The concept of being relaxed, once you understand it, once you get the short swing, you get a clear flash, you feel it. The concept of being relaxed, it's not hard at all to understand. Your brain is at rest. You feel relaxed. You know the feeling. You know that feeling. And you can produce it. Okay? So, um, once you are able to palm and feel that feeling of relaxation, once you're able to see and, and see in a relaxed way and not straining your muscles and your back and your eyes, you're going to remember that. And um, when you're out in public and doing things with people and doing whatever, try to remember, hey, am I straining right now? Am I relaxed? Not only will your vision improve, but your posture will improve. Your relationships will improve. Your decisions will improve. Okay, so, um, anyways, this is something I found to be true. And I'd like to tell a story. I mentioned this in the chat, but for those just listening, um, for my recent at a recent performance, our speaking, we're at to speak in front of maybe 50 to 100 people, and I was given a piece of paper, and then the mic was handed to me, and I knew for that particular speaking event, it was very important for me not to mess up. And I hadn't spoken in front of a lot of people in a long time. And so when I first got the mic, I mean, it went straight back to high school, middle school, elementary school reading, where you're past the opportunity to read and it's your turn to not mess up. And when I got the mic, the entire paper went blurry. I mean, completely blurry. I've never had problems reading up close in my life. I can read 3-point, diamond type font. I can read even smaller than that. But I couldn't see the paper. That was I was holding in my hand. And for a second there, I'm like, that's crazy. But because my habit reading up close has been so good for so many years, that feeling of, oh, actually I can see up close properly. I'm just not relaxing, right? Because when you see the blur, you're going to notice, oh, it's blurry. I can't see it. And you're going to say, well, is there something I'm doing wrong? And in that moment, I quickly realized when I saw a blur, I'm doing something wrong. I'm stressing about this. I need to take a deep breath, and I'll be able to see. And I took a deep breath. I relaxed, and everything came into clarity, crystal clear. Read the whole thing. Of course, it's not surprising to me because I read up close. But for people who are farsighted, that's something that when they get something up close, they might start panicking a little bit because they remember their bad habits. And the number one thing you do when you're stressed, it's not a good habit for a lot of people. It's your bad habits. Oh, I'm gonna go grab a cigarette. Oh, I'm gonna go, call my friend and gossip, or I'm gonna go, um, grab something from the fridge that I shouldn't be having at this time, or I'm gonna go do this, right? A bad habit that you bring up, and it's the same thing with your eyes. So, anyways, the short swing with the period, right? It's when you do that. Mary Oliver told me this. The feeling of relaxation, it should feel like like a relief. You should feel at your head is at rest. You are relieved, and so when looking at the eye chart now, you need to feel that when you're swinging that period. And if you're not feeling it, then you're not relaxed enough. I'm not gaslighting you, not gaslighting you here. You're just not relaxed enough. You need to palm or calm your nervous system down and make sure that breathing is completely effortless. Your blinking's effortless, right? You're not putting effort into seeing. all those things, you'll get the feeling for it when you start doing more of these relaxation techniques. So when you palm, it's not about putting your hands on your face. It's not about your hands having some magical chemicals that will heal your eyes. It's not about, the black and the not black. It is about the black, right? But it's not about that. It's calming your nervous system down. Because when you close your eyes and you put your hands on your face, there's nothing else to do but to relax. Right? So you're not expected to be doing anything. There's nothing to be doing. The whole purpose of the activity is to relax. Okay, so it kind of focuses your attention on, well, what is it that I'm supposed to be experiencing right now? And if it's not relaxation, then you're doing something wrong, right? You're not fulfilling the point of the activity. Whereas with other exercises, okay, well, the point is seeing, so I got to try, or the point is swinging hard enough, so I got to swing harder, or the point is tracing the house and not tracing the stuff behind it, or the stuff, it's all good stuff to do. You got to practice it, but the point of the palming is to relax you. The sunning, relaxation, as well as nutrients, right? I think they're both important there, but the palming is very important for relaxation. So, I guess this lesson was a little all over the place, but the main takeaway is that feeling of relaxation, when you get that clear flash, notice it. Notice how you feel in that moment, because when you learn to see clearly, that's the feeling you're going to be having permanently. And how great of a life would it be to have that feeling in everything you do? That's why they say when you improve your vision, your relationships improve, you're more motivated to work, you actually sleep less, you don't need as much sleep, you feel less tired, you feel less fatigued, you have more, I like to say testosterone too. I felt in the past few months as my vision's improved, my hair has actually came back. I was fearing that my hair was falling out a little bit for a short period, and it was starting to thin a little bit, but I noticed that after I've been relaxed and my vision's improved, that has been tremendous for my body. And one of the things I noticed is my hair has came back and it feels fuller. And it's funny, yesterday I was at the mall and I was with some friends, or a couple days ago, and I was up at a fragrance store, and the lady's like, I'm 27, and the lady was like, I was with my friend who was 21 or 20, and she's like, are you 25? And then she asked me if I was 22, and the other person had glasses, and I didn't. I mean, he had glasses, he's farsighted, he's not, but, I'm not going to name names of who's out there, but if you're hearing this, love you. But anyways, so he was kind of like, what, like, that's crazy. Like, I'm 21. She should have noticed that. I'm at least, younger than the guy next to me. I think that feeling of relaxation, it shows up in your face, it shows up in your eyes, it shows up in your hair, it shows up in your testosterone, your mood, your emotions. People treat you differently. And so, yes, this should all be stuff to hopefully motivate you to really spend. I know it sounds like a lot of time, and half an hour a day doing this stuff. I know it's a lot of time, but trust me, being able to relax is going to help you. It's going to compound in your life so quickly that it's going to pay off. Okay. And, when I'm at the gym and I'm relaxed, I'm lifting better, I'm gaining more, stuff, I'm doing more stuff, it really helps you at the gym. It helps you with relationships, helps you with everything, really. And how great is it to experience life with that beauty? A couple other things I wanted to mention. I had some quotes from some religious texts that I thought were actually really really nice. God made our eyes to see, our ears to hear. That's how He made them, and that is what we're commanded to use them. How we're commanded to use our eyes to see, right? Um, your eye is like a lamp that provides light for your body. And when your eye is healthy, your whole body is filled with light. But when it is unhealthy, your body is filled with darkness. Right? When someone is stressed and strained and they're wearing glasses, right? Oftentimes their peripheral vision, it's narrow. They see things darker. The colors aren't as vibrant. Light isn't as bright. They're in an unhealthier state, and their entire body feels it. They sleep more. They're fatigued all the time, right? When someone's blind, they really can't see anything, and it's a sign of being very unhealthy. And how sad would it be to literally see black all the time? That would suck. So, yeah, seeing light, it's very important for the body, and being relaxed, it will help you see the world clearly. It'll help you see the light, right? It's so important for your body. Um, Another thing, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at young. Okay, that's not that's not what I meant to read. Um, so we fix our eyes on not what is seen, but what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. And I like this quote because when you're seeing, and this is getting a little really spiritual here, but when you're seeing just to see, right? The world is often cruel. When you see something in the world, okay, you're seeing there's a lot of evil in this world. You don't want to, seeing that as evil often makes people not want to see. I'll say it again. Because there's so much evil in this world, it makes sense why people choose sometimes to not see it. And when there is, when you're seeing what is unseen, meaning when you're seeing to perceive and understand, then you will be able to um, not be afraid to see with your eyes, so that you may understand. Okay, so this is for the people out there that are a bit more religious. I think that's nice. And then yeah, that's I think that's all I want to talk about for now. One other thing is, if you're trying to teach other people, and that's why I've been kind of, I mean, I'm back to 2020, which is great. Like, thank God. With my left eye, my right eye, 2015, which is great. It's great. However, Dr. Bates regards perfect eyesight as 2010. So I still have some ways to go. I can at least help you get to where I'm at. But it's important to heal yourself before you heal others. And when you understand what it's like to have good vision, it's easier to teach someone else how to do that, because, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take lessons from someone who wears glasses. That's all I'm going to say. It just does not make sense to me. But, yeah, that's all I guess I'm going to leave you guys with. You know where to find me. I hope you guys relax in your days and enjoy what you can see. Notice what you can see, not what you can't see, meaning relax, don't stress out. All right, take care.